Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. How are you beautiful people doing? Let's make it go live on Instagram. Good evening, good evening, good evening. How are you? How are you? How are you? Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. This is Terrence Bardui. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited as people are starting to come in. Let's get ready. Let's get ready for the show. How are you doing, man? It's the second Tuesday of the month. I am so excited. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. As people are starting to come in, my name is Terrence Bardui. Some people call me H. Some people call me Havis. Some people call me Terrence. Some people call me Mr. Bardui. But if you're from the 767, Whitey Kubuli, the Commonwealth of Dominica, tall is her body. How do you call me? Little boy. If you're from La Pointe, a.k.a. Point Michel, St. Luke's Parish, you call me Luca Boy. Dominica made me, Boston raised me, now the South sustains me. Hope you're doing well. Hope everyone's doing well. Let me just try to make sure this is on my Facebook page and everyone's doing well tonight. I'm so excited. Welcome, welcome. Yes, it is. It's doing good. Let me go and like it as people start to tune in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How is your day going? How was your Tuesday? Did you have a good day? Did you have a productive day? Is everything going great for you? I hope it is. I hope it is as we set up this live. Let's make it let's go and make sure we have it. Oh, it's showing perfect here. All right, it's showing perfect here. It's showing perfect. So good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. How are you beautiful people doing? Hope people doing well. If you are on, you're going to have to say hello in the chat so I can give you a shout out. If you don't say hello, I won't be able to give you a shout out. I won't even know if you're watching. I won't even know if you're there, but I just want you to know I am so excited. Let me fix my shirt so I can look professional. You guys like, man, you can see his undershirt. But welcome, welcome. How is your day going? I've been trying to find something and I can't find it. I have to go on a work thing and I'm trying to find something, but I can't find it yet. So I hope you guys are doing well. How's everybody doing? Hope everyone is enjoying their day and they're chilling like a villain and all that good stuff. I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. So again, welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. Now, let me just check something for you guys real quickly just before we go through our theme song. I just want to check something, make sure everything goes fine. Let's see. What's this foolishness? Let me make sure everything is fine here. Just double checking. I can see. Oh my gosh. I can see Tamara is on. I got to give a special shout out. Good evening. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. Is your foundation solid? That's the topic of our show tonight. But just before we start though, let me just take a quick look at markets. Again, I want to welcome to all of those of you who are tuning in to Tuesdays with Terrence. It's another Tuesday, every Tuesday at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. For some of you, it might be a little after 8. For some of you, it may be really late if you're in Europe or in Africa or somewhere. If you're on the West Coast, it's early. But it's what now? What's the time right now? It's 7:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good evening, Mr. Alvin Varsa. How are you, young man? Hope you're enjoying your day. And as people are starting to tune in, I'm going to wait a couple of minutes before people come in. And while they're doing that, I think I will go straight to my theme song, and get it ready as people are starting to come in. I might strum along on the guitar for you guys tonight. So let's get it started. And again, welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. All right, let's get it to go. Let's get it to go.
Battery medium.
There we go. There we go. Let's get it to go. Let's get it to go. Let's get it to go, man. There we go. Yeah. Ready?
Dominica made me, that's where it all began. Island breeze, coconut trees, the heart of my plan. From the hills and the smiles to the songs of the sea, that island spirit molded the person I'd be. Boston raised me with its hustle and grind. City lights shining, dreams intertwined. In the heart of this town, I found my way. A licensed financial pro, ready for the fray. On those snowy streets, learn to stand tall, navigating life, every rise, every fall. From the commons to the brownstones, I made my claim. With every lesson learned, I embraced my name. Boston raised me with its hustle and grind. City lights shining, dreams intertwined. In the heart of this town, I found my way. A licensed financial pro, ready for the fray. Now the South sustains me with its warm embrace, a community of strength and love in every space. From the bayous to the beaches, I found my place. In this journey of finance, I've learned to chase grace. Dominica made me, Boston raised me high. The South sustains my soul as I reach for the sky. With every sunrise, I'm thankful and free. A licensed financial pro, just being me. So here's to the roots that shaped who I am. From Dominica's beauty to Boston's Grand Slam. In the South I stand strong, with purpose and pride. Together with my journey, side by side.
Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. That's my theme song from the roots of my rise from Dominica to Boston to the South. How are you beautiful people doing this evening? Welcome. I want to say welcome to Miss Isabel Joseph Carbon. How are you tonight? Hope you're doing well. Watching all the way from Antigua. All right, we got Antigua, we got Jamaica, we got the United States, we got Canada, we got everywhere. People's watching from everywhere. So welcome. Tonight I have a great program for you. We're going to talk about, is your financial foundation solid? And a lot of people think it is. But before we get into that, let's just take a quick look and let's look at markets. Today, let's see what happened in markets today. We had, let's see. The Dow was down 398.21. The NASDAQ was down 2403. And the S&P was down 1353. So everybody in their little 401ks, their stocks, their bonds, their mutual funds, you all lost a little money today. But guess what? My clients don't worry about that because they sleep like this, like a baby. When the market's up, they participate in the gains of the market. When the market is down, they never lose a penny and they're locked in. Whatever they have last is locked in. So they never, ever lose it. I want to say good evening to Miss Robin Martin, all the way in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina. How are you? Hope you're doing tonight. I think you have some visitors at your house. You said the grandbabies are visiting, but you're still tuning in. You know what? The grandbabies need an infinite banking concept. That's, you got to insure them while they're young and healthy. That's when you insure them. But anyways, thank you for tuning in. For all of you else who are watching, people probably watching from other places. Some people don't want to comment. Some people kind of like they just watch. They don't want to. So what I'm going to do in a second, I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to start talking about is your financial house is in order. So let me ask you all a question though. Um, is your foundation solid? Is your foundation solid? Now, you might say, what do you mean? Now, everyone who's watching tonight is probably in a house or an apartment or a mansion, something, a high rise, wherever it is, I don't know. You're watching from different places, right? And in all the places that you're watching, good evening, Mr. Charles Robinson. How you doing tonight? And from no matter where you're watching, each and every one of you are in a building somewhere. But some of you may be in a car driving, watching on your phone. You may be at work, but let's say you're in a building, all right? I don't care if it's in a bank, a hospital, a house, an apartment. Every one of those that I just mentioned has a foundation. So when you're building a house, one of the first things that you start with is the foundation. Not one, the first thing that you start off with is a foundation. Without a foundation, you can't start. You don't start when you're building a house. You don't say, man, let me go get some curtains and some windows. I mean, you can look at them and see the ones you want to put in or install, but your foundation has to be solid. Now, a lot of people have made mistakes, all right? They probably had for those in Dominica watching, if not from Dominica or who are Dominicans, they probably had a Patrick foundation. Patrick foundation just basically means that it wasn't solid. No, there is someone watching right now. I'm not going to call their name and put their business out, but they're actually doing a degree in construction. And this individual is learning, about building and construction. But I bet you one of the things they learned or they're learning or they will learn is about foundations. And too many people misunderstand the purpose of a solid financial foundation. Some of you are thinking about building a house or building a this or building a that, but does it have a solid financial foundation when it comes to your finances? Now, listen to me. I'm not here to judge anybody. I don't care if you have $2 in the bank, 1,000,000, 500,000, nothing. I don't care. I don't care if you're wealthy, if you're rich, if you're a pauper. I don't care. That's not important. The only thing I care about is after tonight, what are you going to do? After tonight, what are you going to do to change the trajectory of your financial literacy and your financial freedom and your financial planning for the future? You see, I was talking to a young client of mine, I should say, who it's for their child who's very young. The child is under 10, and it's very young. So the child has a long way to go. And this client of mine is from Dominique as well. We were talking about their daughter, and we're talking about how much time that they have to plan. The longer you have, the more time that you have is the more that you can do. So, for example, if you're an OG like me, you got to do more. But if you're 2 weeks old, a year, your parents is doing it for you, you're 18, you're out of high school, you didn't go to college or trade school, you got a job, or you're 22, you're out of college, you got a job, and you start saving. You see, a lot of people, what they know about when they get out of school and they get a job, I know they have student loans, they may have some credit cards, they may have a car loan, but they get a job because you need a car to get to and from work. In the Caribbean, lots of times people use buses and, minivans to get to and from work. In America, a lot of people back home too use cars, but I'm saying in America, a lot of people use cars too. But sometimes if you live in big cities, like I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts, nobody drove into town. Parking was too expensive. Everybody took the bus and the train. You took the train in or the streetcar in, and he put you right into town and you walked to work and you were there. And then, you on the way home, the trains used to be packed, right? And the reason I'm saying that is, folks, if you're starting off, if you're just starting off, and some of you have children or grandchildren who are like in between 18 and 24, just starting off, for all the mistakes that you've made, you got to forget about them and say, I don't want you, I don't want to hear, well, I had to take care of my kids, so I did this and I did that. You did what you had to do. I'm proud of you. Give yourself a pat on the back right now. I'm proud of all of you parents, especially single parents, who did stuff for their kids. Pat yourself on the back. I am very, very proud of you. But now, if your children are adults and they can fend for themselves, you need to start taking care of you. And you should have been doing that anyways, but we're not going to go there because what we're not going to do is we're not going to dwell on the past. All we have is today. We don't even have tomorrow. So tomorrow, we have to plan for tomorrow, because everyone I talk to want to live a long, healthy life. Well, if you want to live a long, healthy life, you have to have a solid foundation so that when the time comes, if you live longer than you're supposed to, you have disposable income. You do. So, like we said at the beginning, every house needs a foundation. Now, in the Caribbean, there's someone watching from, several people watching from the Caribbean, but recently, Melissa ran through Jamaica, I think Cuba, Dominican Republic, some of those islands, but Jamaica got hit hard. I guarantee you there was probably some homes or some people where the foundations was probably messed up. Now, we're not here to blame the people if their foundations weren't solid. So we can use the allegory or the analogy of that with financial planning and financial literacy. If you didn't do anything or you do something haphazard, whatever you want to call it, when life happens, I see life happens all the time in the business I'm in. And there's a lot of you who are watching who've done a lot of good stuff for your future. Excuse me. Some of you may get a pension. Some of you may get Social Security. Some of you may have 401ks. You've done some planning, right? But the key here is your planning solid? So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to share my screen. And, every now and then I'll go back and forth between the screen. So I'm going to try to share my screen right now so you can see what I want to show you guys. All right. I want to share my entire screen. One of the first things I want to share is this. Let's share this and I'll go back and share it again. Let's go to, it's from me, this one. I hope you guys can see this, right? Let me go back to StreamYard. Yep. It says, getting your financial house in order. Getting your financial house in order. What affects your financial planning is taxes and inflation. When I was 13 years old in Boston, Massachusetts, a gallon of milk was like $1.39, I think, or $1.30. I don't remember, something like that. I drank milk then. Right now, I'm plant-based. I'm a vegan. I don't drink milk. I drink almond milk. I'm talking about the regular cow's milk, right? I don't drink that. So we buy almond milk, and I think it's like $4 something, So inflation over the years. So if you had $5 in 1978, today that $5 is not worth $5. It's worth less, right? So I always tell people only your current self can take care of your future self. Only your current self can take care of your future self. So inflation is part of it right here. See that? Inflation is part of it. Then you have taxes. It might be property taxes, car taxes, income taxes. When you buy stuff at the store or the gas, whatever, there's taxes, inheritance taxes, all kinds of taxes. There was a song when I was a little kid, and some of you all are too young. Some of you wasn't even born. The song, I can't sing, but the song went something like this: bills to pay, water bill to pay, gas bill to pay, water bill to pay. I going crazy. That's an old song. Bills to pay, right? So taxes, you cannot eliminate taxes, but you have to learn how to minimize it. All right. So For your financial independence, you need emergency funds. Emergency funds is for those rainy days. Those rainy days when your water heater broke, your AC, your stove, your electrical system, something happened. If you have, most people have insurance on their homes, and you should have insurance on your home. But something happened and it's broken to a storm. You access your emergency funds to do that, right? Then you also have to think about short and long-term illness. A short-term illness could be, you know, a short-term illness could be a critical illness as well. But it could be something that you have a surgery on your foot, you can't walk for a while, or something like that, and you got to deal with it. You know, it's one of those things, right? And a long-term illness could be something chronic, where on Thursday I have to go to a funeral, and the I said a young lady, but she was a mature lady. The young lady who passed was in a nursing home for years, for years. You know, so you have short-term illness and you have long-term illness. All right. So short-term, it could be something major or even minor, but then you have long-term illness. It might be you may be what's the word, convalescent for the rest of your life, but it's long-term. So if you don't have, especially if you're younger and you can't work, how are you going to manage? All right. Then you have tax-free retirement. Some people don't understand, when you have a 401k, it's not tax-free. When you have your Social Security is taxable now. Your 403b is tax-free. Your 457s, your thrift savings plans, all those things are tax deferred. And then risk-free investments. So your financial house has to be in order. Well, is it in order? Is it in order? And that's a question you get to answer, not me. You get to answer that question. All right? You get to answer that question. Oh, wow. I think Divine is watching. Oh, wow. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. All right? So listen, folks. The first thing, like we talked about, is making sure that we're getting your financial house in order. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over a quick presentation, and let's see if we can get it up there for you guys. Let's see if you can see this. No, I know what to do. I'm going to stop sharing for a moment, and then I'm going to, hold on, add it here. I'm going to stop sharing, and then I'm going to share again because there's something I want to show you guys. This is what I want to show you guys right here. Let's see. Leave the studio. No, we don't want to do that. Let's go here. Slides and PDFs. We're gonna try it again, man. If it doesn't, I may have to do it from hold on, guys. Just bear with me for a moment, right? I want to get it for you. Just bear with me for a moment. There's something I want to show you. So my computer's acting up a little bit. Share screen. That's what I want. We want to share the screen, and we want to do, share. All right. So can you guys see this? If you can see it, put it in the chat. If you can see this, say yes in the chat. If you can see, it says American Classic Agency, the company that cares. If you can see that, put that in the chat so I know you can see it so I can proceed. Can you see it? Somebody put it in the chat for me. Say yes. All right. Put it in the chat. Let me double check. I'm going to wait for you guys to tell me yes in the chat so I'll be able to make sure. Anybody, help me out. Help a brother out. Can you see what I'm talking about in the chat? Can you say yes? Somebody. If you can see it, say yes. If you can. Somebody put in the chat. Can you say yes if you can see it? Charles Robinson, Robin, Alvin, somebody say yes. Put it in the chat. If you can see my screen, say yes so I can continue. Can you see my screen? Yes or no? Can you see my screen? I'm waiting on you all patiently. Let me see if you guys are being good students tonight. Can you see my screen? Somebody put it in the chat and say yes. I'm hoping you guys can, because I can. I can see my screen. So I'm hoping you guys can see my screen. All right. So I'm going to go with the assumption that you can't see my screen. Yes, Alvin says yes. Thank you, Alvin. I appreciate you. All right, great. You're the star of the day. I was want to say star of the day. Who would it be? It's Mr. Alvin Vasa. Hold on. So let's see. Boom. Let me check one more thing here and go to my financial one. Is that it? No, this right here. All right. So we're going to start the slideshow. So I'm in partnership with American Classic Agency, the company that cares. That's my agency that I'm partnered with. You know, we're based in Atlanta, Maryland, and we have offices. You know, our corporate headquarters is in Atlanta, Maryland, but we have an office in Jacksonville, Florida as well. All right. So American Classic Agency is the company that cares. Let's tell you a little bit about us. American Classic Agency was established in 1995, and AC has helped thousands of hardworking American families protect themselves against unexpected with life insurance, mortgage protection, disability, long-term care, and tax-free income solutions for investing and retirement. At a time when the insurance industry was cutting back on customer service and sales support, ACA, which is my agency that I'm partnered with, stepped up to bridge the gap with more personal attention and dedicated customer support. So just a little disclaimer about us, all right? So this is our mission at American Classic Agency. Our mission is to be agents of change for families regarding income protection, debt elimination, and legacy creation. We are agents of change for families regarding income protection, because you work, you have a job. I don't care if you're an entrepreneur. I don't care if you braid hair, if you're a gardener, or if you're a farmer, or you're a bus driver, or you're a nurse, a doctor, you have income. Is it protected? Well, we show people how to protect that. Then secondly, debt. Debt is a financial cancer. A lot of people can't save because they're in debt. And a lot of times you get in debt unnecessarily and sometimes unknowingly, right? So we show people how to eliminate their debt, and then we teach them about legacy creation. A lot of you have children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, a spouse, or whatever, a fraternity, a sorority, a church, or somebody which you want to leave a legacy towards. So what I'm saying to you guys right there, we also do legacy creation. Now, we are agents of change for families regarding income protection, debt elimination, and legacy creation. Now, check this out. Getting your financial house in order. I just talked about that. A lot of people talk they want financial independence. However, they don't realize that it's incumbent on them. It's incumbent on you, John Doe or Jane Doe. It's incumbent on you to actually make that decision. I want to say welcome to Miss Hannah Massicard, watching all the way from Dominica. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence and everybody else who's watching tonight. So it's incumbent on you to make sure you get your financial house in order. So moving right along, if you don't have life insurance, your foundation is flawed. Now, I don't want to hear I can't afford it. I don't want to hear how much should I have, because we can tell you that. But the key here is you got to have something. Well, I don't have a lot of money. Get what you can afford. And every time you make more money, you get more. Especially if you have children, a spouse, someone that you care about. If there's anybody who depends on your income, your children, your grandchildren, your boo, your side piece, anybody who depends on your income need life insurance. And the reason why you need it, because God forbid something happens to you, how is that person or your children or your husband or your wife or your family member, whoever you're taking care of, how are they going to be, especially a lot of the people who are in the diaspora, you're abroad and you're helping family members back home. Some of you are taking care of all of their expenses. Some of them may not be able to work. So you need life insurance. We talked about taxes and inflation a moment ago. Taxes, you got to pay your taxes. And inflation, you can't control that. The government tries to manage that sometimes. But like I said, in 1978, a gallon of milk was like $1.39. It's over $4 or $5 now. All right. Then we talk about emergency funds. If your water heater blow or your AC or something, you need funds, right? Short-term and long-term illnesses. A lot of you may be familiar with that. Some of you may have had a situation, a health scare, and you probably know some people who have some short-term and long-term illnesses. Tax-free retirements. A lot of people are not aware of that. We teach you that. We teach you those concepts. And risk-free investments, in other words, that's how you get your financial house in order. All right? Moving right along. Basic coverage needs. Everybody needs basic coverage needs. I've heard so many stories about, it's so funny. I'm going to a funeral on Thursday, and, an individual I remember used to watch Tuesdays with Terrence. Then they got sick, and they had asked me about some concepts, but I know they had some health challenges. But guess what? That individual made some preparations. They had basic coverage. There was something called the dime theory. Dime. Have you heard about the dime theory? Not the penny theory, but the dime theory. All right? So we're going to tell you the D is for what? Debts. I is for income replacement. M is for mortgage protection. And E is for education expenses. And educational expenses sometimes, it might be even your kids go to a private school now. In the Caribbean, some kids go to certain schools where they have to pay, tuition. Maybe a private school. I don't know. Maybe a Catholic school, an Adventist school, or Anglican school, or a private school. You may own a home. You need mortgage protection. So that theory, debt, income replacement, mortgage protection, and education expenses. That's the dime theory. All right. Now, you got to learn about term versus perm. Temporary insurance against permanent insurance. You have to learn the difference. Let's look at it. Term insurance is like you're renting an apartment or a studio. That's what it's like because you don't own, you have no equity. When your lease is up, they can tell you to leave, or you can leave, or they can raise your rent. They never turn it down, right? They always raise it up. All right. I know someone going through that right now who's moving, right? So you have term insurance, right? You rent it. Then you have, the good thing about term insurance, it has low cost initially, but the older you get is the more expensive it gets. Because if you have a term, 10-year, you pay the same term for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years. But after that, you're 30 years. If you were 30 and then you're 60, the price is going to change drastically. Then you got cost increases at renewal. I just said that. After the 10-year term, the 15-year term, 20, 30-year term, you have cost renewal, right? Then you have no cash buildup, no equity. When you're renting an apartment, you don't build any equity. You're paying someone else's mortgage. And nothing is wrong with renting an apartment, by the way. Some people don't want it. Some people can't afford to buy a house, and it's okay, but you have to do it. But there's no cash buildup, but you have protection. Then the coverage ends. Boom. After 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30, it just ends. All right. Then you have terminal illness coverage. We talk about living benefits. You hear me talking about living benefits all the time. I made a post today on social media. All right. If anybody goes to my Facebook page today, they would have seen the post. I made a post, and the post actually said, and I'll read it to you guys. It said this: while faith and prayer, because we got a lot of Christians watching, right? Non-Christians who have faith and prayer. While faith and prayer can be powerful sources of comfort, during critical illnesses, it's also crucial to have practical financial support. Practical financial support. That's where living benefits can provide that essential lifeline, embodying a balance of spiritual resilience and financial wisdom. So a lot of people don't plan by having insurance. And if you're not doing that, you have to change ASAP. Then you have chronic illnesses. We just talked about a chronic illness. You know, something chronic means it's there forever. You know, then you also have critical illnesses. You know, you may have cancer. Cancers may not be there forever. Breast cancer, colon cancer, throat cancer, skin cancer. I don't know, right? And then critical injuries. You know, critical injury coverage. What if you're driving to work and you got into an accident, you become a quadriplegic? You, you know, you can't do two of the activities of daily living or whatever. You know, you can't someone got to help you this, help you do that. Term insurance, rent, it covers all that. And even the ones that we offer here through my agency, we have on Alzheimer's as well. There's a lot of people that you know that's dealing with Alzheimer's and dementia. Some of you watching right now, your family members may be going through that. But would it be nice if there was a way you could have gotten money from something like this to help? If the family member had that before. Now let's talk about permanent owning. It's like owning a house, a condo, a mansion, or whatever, a townhouse. So with the permanent, you own it. Same, the cost, you got a higher cost initially, but it's level. Cost remains level, doesn't change. It builds cash value for a rainy day. Remember the emergencies? Coverage is permanent. If you live to be 120 or some cases $100, it'll endow. That means they're going to give you a check for the death benefit because you've outlived, you know, your life expectancy of what a policy should cover. Terminal illness coverage, we just talked about that. Chronic illness coverage, we just talked about that. Critical illness coverage, we just talked about that. Critical injury, we just talked about. Alzheimer's. Fertility. We even have a fertility journey. If you have a spouse who's having or partner who's having difficulty conceiving, it could be the man, it could be the woman. You can get some funds to help get treatment for that. That's part of life. So why wouldn't you do that, especially if you're a young couple or a young person, younger? Because the fertility journey, if you're older and you don't have no more kids, it really doesn't matter, right? And guess what? Cash value, tax-free growth. Monies you put in the bank, in mutual funds, stocks, bonds, 401ks, things, those things are not tax-free. They're tax-deferred. Some of them are taxable. Every year you have to declare them as capital gains on your taxes, and you have to pay Uncle Sam or Uncle whomever. Uncle Jamaica or Uncle this or Uncle Dominica or Uncle Antigua and Uncle Canada or Uncle and whomever. You have to do that. Folks, emergency funds, educational funds, wealth building, and retirement funds. There was a young person who was on a recruiting call that we had last night. I want to say welcome to Miss Carmen Joseph all the way in Antigua. There was a young person who was on our recruiting call last night. He started at 28. And when he gets to be my age, man, he can get 6 figures tax-free for as long as he lives. 6 figures. And the important thing about it is he understands the concepts because he took my advice. Some of you have family members here in the United States. You've told me that. They should be talking to me. Moving right along. How permanent works. Check it out. You have an individual, male or female. You get a premium. The permanent insurance policy, it has a minimum company requirements, and the IRS allows you to put a maximum in there. You can legally park money without paying taxes on it if you structure it properly. We're not talking about money laundering. That's illegal. We're talking about legally dumping money. I was just talking to a young lady about that today. I've been telling her about that for over 5 years. So that's how it works. You have a premium, you pay permanent insurance policy, minimum company requirements, and maximum IRS that allows you can dump into it. You can get tax-free cash value, tax-free lifetime income. That young man I was just telling you about, when he's 50, he can get six figures for the rest of his life tax-free if he continues to sustain what he's doing. You see, you can't start and stop. But life happens, and sometimes you may have to interrupt it and stop. But when you get back on your feet, go back to it. Life don't happen every day. You may have a rough month or a rough something, but you don't have your whole life is rough. No, it doesn't work that way. And you have tax-free death benefit. A lot of people like to talk about death, but listen to me, folks. We're talking about living benefits, but you know what? You don't get life insurance because you're gonna die. You get it because your loved one's gonna live. If you have a child is 10 years old, or you have a grandchild, and you want to leave an inheritance for them, the best way to do it for pennies on the dollar is through life insurance. When you pass away, they get it tax-free. If they live long enough, they become adults, they can even be your beneficiaries. You can do that, folks. That's it. The reason why I wanted to show you guys that is to tell you all, if you are not using life insurance in your financial planning, your foundation of your financial planning is flawed. Some of you in the Caribbean say, so they have Sagicor, or they have this, Life of Jamaica, Life of Antigua, Life of Samoa, I don't know, Pan American Life. It doesn't, folks, you can make excuses to me from now till Jesus comes. It's incumbent on you to save. It's incumbent on you. Some of you have adult children and they can fend for themselves. You got to cut the umbilical cord. Cut it. Cut it. No, it doesn't mean you cut the relationship with your children. That's not what I'm talking about. And there may be some times you may have to help, but you've been helping them forever. Can they help you too? Some of them, if they can help you fund yours, they should do that. Have those kind of conversations with your child. Make sure your children understand the basic financial literacy, guys. Basic financial literacy. Basic financial literacy. Are you doing that? Is your financial house in order? If it's not, it's flawed. It doesn't mean that you are bad because it's flawed. It means you have to build it over or start over, or have someone talk to you. And you say, well, I can't afford it. Yes, you can. You're going to have to decide what's important to you. Excuse me. Preparing for you down the road when life happens. It would be nice if you had somebody, a sugar mama or a sugar daddy, to take care of you for the rest of your life, right? But life is not like that. You got a plan. I think everybody who's watching tonight are doing the best they know how. I believe that. I think they're doing the best that they know how. But nothing is wrong with learning different concepts and starting new stuff. Someone told me, last year, someone sent me some information and told me they have difficulty saving last year. And I told the individual, okay, maybe you need to get a part-time job. Find something. Are you good at braiding here? Braid kids here. Do kids braid hair anymore? You're really good at cooking, cook dinners and sell it. You might be an educator. You don't have to be an educator, but you might be an educator. You're good at math. Tutor kids on math. Tutor them on science, English, whatever. Their parents got the money. Let them pay you. And you can't help everybody. In 2026, learn to say no. No! Learn to say no. I learned it. There's some time, and don't feel guilty, because no is a complete sentence for all you linguists out there. It's a complete sentence. Don't be scared. Just because you can't help somebody don't mean you're bad. Because some people, you be helping them, and the one time you couldn't help them, they start talking about you. But what you was helping them, you were Santa Claus. You were the greatest brother, sister, friend, this, that, mother, father. Folks, all I can tell you is that I think it's paramount that you start putting your financial house in order. Your foundation, if it's flawed, it's up to you to fix it. You have some land in your backyard, plant vegetables and cucumber and tomatoes and sell them. Don't be giving out to the community for free all the time. You know, if there's somebody needs help and they're marginalized, you might help us with that, but sell it. When I was a little kid in Dominica, I just started first form and we moved up here. I was a little kid. In our backyard, we had a big garden. We had everything. We had beets, carrots, tomatoes, lettuce, everything. We even had a peach tree. We had a mango. We had a big old breadfruit tree in the yard. Everything. I don't even think my parents ever sold anything, but we had it. We had chickens in the yard. We had goats. We had sheep. Every Sunday was a day to cut a chicken's neck, and you had chicken, brown stew chicken, or whatever, curry chicken, or whatever kind of chicken you had. Or if there was a big feast, they may kill a goat or a sheep or something. But what I'm saying here, guys, I'm not telling you that you have to put millions of dollars away every day. Put what you can for it. I don't care if there is something called feedthepig.org. Feedthepig.org. And it gives you some concepts. That organization was started by some CPAs and accountants for financial literacy. And even if you're in a different country, the concepts are the same. Saving is saving. I remember back in the day, Jamaicans call it partner. Dominicans call it sub. No, Trinidadians call it susu, or Africans. People used to do that. Now, my mother, I never saw my mother work. She was a housewife, but I think she was a seamstress before I was born. But she ran subs. I even think right now, my sister is one of those things, some of my sisters. I don't know if I ever did that when I was young. I don't know. But I know my mother used to run one, and my sisters and other people. But then when you get your hand, what do you do with the money? Listen, folks, I'm not telling you that you should not take vacation. I'm not telling you that you should not have fun. Good evening, Beth Amato. Good to see you. I'm not telling you not to take vacations with your family. I'm not telling you not to buy your Michael Kors pocketbook and your Louis Vuitton flip-flops and whatever. I'm not telling you that. I don't control your money. A lot of people, the majority of people, they don't have a money problem. If you're making $100, $200, $300,000, you have a money problem? No. You have a spending problem. Stay within your scope. And don't think because someone's house is bigger than yours, don't envy them. Some people, you don't know what they do. Some of them made bomb to get it. You don't know what bomb means? Ask a Dominique and they'll tell you. Don't worry about the Joneses. Worry about sweep your own little front door. Don't worry. Don't go be sweeping other people's front door. Worry about you. Whatever you can do in your little thing. Do the best that you can do. The best. Don't let anybody ostracize you or make you feel you're not important. I know people on social media. I've seen it. And I know those people personally. Don't let social media run your life. Social media is not real, yo. It's fake. A whole bunch of people on social media. Fake. I have clients. You would never know what they have, how much they have, because they don't flaunt it. Listen to me. Broke is loud. Rich and wealthy is quiet. Listen, If you can sing, you don't have to walk around telling everybody you can sing. If you have money, you don't have to go walk around telling everybody you have money. Live within your means. There are some people who are very good at budgeting. If you don't have a budget, create one. Start one. And I'm not telling you don't get your manicures and your pedicures. For those of you who follow me on Facebook or on WhatsApp, if you go to my WhatsApp page, you'll see a funny thing about a lady with getting the pedicure and move the hair and the glasses. That's just for fun. But I'm not telling you, budget, put that into your budget. And if you can't afford it, take it out. And if it's not in your budget, you can't afford it. Are you that disciplined? Sometimes you can scrub your feet, back home. You use after you eat the corn, use the mesh and scrub under your feet. No, don't get me wrong. There are times you need to go get your nails done because the ladies love that. The guys too. I haven't had a manicure in a long a pedicure. I've only had two in my life. My youngest son on his 20th birthday, we went on a pedicure, and my oldest son on his, was it 2 years ago? 35th birthday, we did pedicures. The only other pedicures I get is from Sandy, but I don't go, and I think I need one because my foot, it's like a grater. But what I'm saying to you, budget for it, folks. I'm not telling you not to get your hair done and look pretty for your husband or your wife or whatever I ain't telling you don't do that. What I'm saying is don't go broke trying to impress people you don't like with money you don't have. Don't go broke to impress people you don't like with money you don't have and buy things you cannot afford. That's just foolishness. If I was a woman, right, I'd rather have a Dollar Tree pocketbook with money in it, or I have my debit card and have money. I can go and get whatever I want. Don't have a big Louis Vuitton pocketbook and your account is negative zero. It happens all the time. You don't know that. It happens all the time. It's not all you see that's glitters. There are some people who follow me on social media. Some of them are my clients. You would never know how much they have. You know why? Because they don't flaunt it. And I'm going to say this. Some of you may not like it. If you believe, if you're a person of faith, you got to return. You got to return your tithe and an offering. Now, some of you might say, "I don't go to church. I don't know." Okay. Well, God asked you to give him back your first fruits, first 10. So I don't know how you're going to do that. You're going to work that out with God. But you got to return and test it. But this is not a financial show. This is not a spiritual show. It's a financial show. There's a young lady that I'm talking to. I don't know if I'm going to get her on next week or in 2 weeks to talk about credit. Making sure you get your credit, where it's supposed to be. So when you buy a car, you don't pay too much. When you buy a house, you get a lower rate, equity line of credit, things like that. Folks, it's easy for me to sit here and tell you what to do. Please don't think I'm perfect. Some of the issues you have, I have as well. It's like a mechanic. You ever see them? They drive these old cars, but they know how to fix it, but they fix it in your nice car. My point I'm trying to make here is that I'm here to educate you all to protect what you have for the future. Start today. Get living benefits. If you're in the Caribbean or in Europe or Canada or Mexico, you're watching tonight, like if you're in Dominica or in the Caribbean, or even in here, I would say the Caribbean or Dominica, you should follow a friend of mine. Her name is Luana Luant. She runs an organization called Finance Focus. Finance. FINACE Focus. She's on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, WhatsApp. She's everywhere. And she gives practical advice. You can even hire her. People always ask me how much does it cost to give them financial advice. I tell them they cannot afford me. You cannot afford me. And this is not a considered remark. My point is, let me help you start with your foundation and then tell somebody. Some of you have, listen, that young man I was telling you about, he was referred to me. He lives here in the States. He was referred to me in North Carolina by someone in St. Martin. Someone I hadn't seen. They passed, 2 years ago, 2024, October, over a year ago, I should say. They give me multiple referrals. There's people in Dominica, in Antigua, and in St. Martin that I've given referrals to as well, because that young lady who passed, she did the same thing I did out there. And there were some people I told them, you should need to talk to that lady over there. Folks, stop making excuses. I saw a post, it was funny. I'm not going to quote it, but I'm going to draw an analogy with the quote. Someone said, you know what, we have all these problems going on, but the person says, yeah, we know, but first we have to SeaWo. SeaWo means party. Folks, I'm not telling you not to have fun. I'm not telling you not to go to your SeaWo and have a good time, but budget for it. And if it's not in the budget, you can't go. And you might go to this one, but not that one, but you can't go to all of them. If you budget for all of them, go to all of them. But you can't go to all of them. And you all can't be asking people in the diaspora or people wherever they are to fund those lifestyles for y'all. It's not fair. It's not right. I know things are hard everywhere. But I know with the proper planning, it'll prevent poverty. Proper planning prevents poverty. Proper planning prevents poverty. Ladies and gentlemen, the show is called Tuesdays with Terrence. My name is Terrence Bardui. Some people call me H. Some people call me Havis. Some people call me Terrence. Some people call me Mr. Bardui. But if you're from the 767, the Commonwealth of Dominica, Whitey Kubuli, tall is her body, you call me little boy. But if you're from St. Luke's Parish, aka Point Michel, aka La Pointe, I'm going to say it in Creole for the Dominicans watching, Usaki mo Luku boy, you can call me Luku boy. Dominica made me, Boston raised me, now the South sustains me. And I'm so excited that each and every one of you decided to tune in tonight. Folks, the show is called Tuesdays with Terrence. Every Tuesday at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I talk about non-traditional financial concepts. Some of you only want to go to a bank or a credit union, but there are different ways to prepare to solidify your financial house. There's some people watching tonight whose financial house I know is solidified. Something happens to them, I'm not worried. Their family members are not going to be putting no GoFundMe on WhatsApp, on Facebook, and Instagram and TikTok. No, they're prepared. Proper planning prevents poverty. And poor planning, what does that do? Poverty. My name is Terrence Bardui. Thank you for tuning in. If you like what you heard tonight, share the live. If you don't like what you hear, it's okay. Thank you for tuning in. Next week, we may have someone talking about credit. Folks, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in, especially the first timers tonight, Miss Massacott, Hannah Massacott. Thank you for tuning in. Good to see my esteemed client in Palm Coast, Florida, Miss Beth Amato. Thank you for my good friend, Miss Carmen Joseph, that I met in Dominica. It's good to see Mr. Alvin Vasa, Petersburg, Virginia. Mr. Charles Robinson, thank you, partner, for tuning in. Robin in the Queen City. Isabel Joseph Carbon from Antigua, Sakafet. Tamara, good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. I know you guys could have done something else. Supporting me makes my day. But remember, you can support me all as you want. Make sure you're taking care of your financial foundation. So as I close, hold on. Let's get it in here if it'll work. It looked like it's acting funny. I just want you to know, as a licensed financial pro, I know you can do better. Good night, everybody. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you for tuning in. I don't even think my theme song is going to play. It seems like something is wrong with it. I don't care. Maybe I will end tonight with a, let me do a little, ay, ay, ay. You guys, I don't know if you guys can handle this. Someone might call the pastor on me. I'll just play. Let's see if I can get one version of it. Let's try it.
Battery medium. Connected to Fires Alex camera.
Have you walked a mile in my shoes? Let's try it. See if it works. Tamara, this one's for you. Can you hear me screaming from afar?
Somebody help me from this height, don't want to fall. But if I do, would you catch me? Now take the
Good night, everybody. God bless you. Hasta la vista. Bye-bye. Good night.
With all the hit
Bye.
and lights
Bye.
and glamour, autograph the things you illegal, yeah. You don't know what's up with me. Can't find food to feed my family. My life is like an open book. Turn the page, come take a look. On walk